Hey everyone, I hope you guys have had a great week and a great weekend. I know it's been a minute since I've been in front of the camera, or behind the camera, I should say, speaking to you guys about more of my products, more of my components. I hope you guys had a fun time listening to the Past Labs monoblocks that you're seeing there in front of you with the Boulder 2110 preamplifier, as well as the Wilson Audio Alex speakers that I will miss very, very much. Anyway, I know you guys have been waiting for this moment for me to reveal the next speaker that I am going to be playing with over the next few months. And this couldn't have come at a better time for my channel to be able to also give you guys, just a little bit of a spin on things, something different, something a little more, it could be crazy if you want to call it crazy. But I think for YouTube purposes, for YouTube in general, change is always good. Change is always great to keep you guys entertained. If I were to play the same Wilson Audio Alex's here or whatever other speaker for long enough, you guys are going to get bored. Let's be honest. You guys are going to tune out and find something else to watch. So I have to partially remember this when I make my decisions. I know some of you guys are very critical. Remember, a lot of times when I make my decisions are also part of those decisions have to do with you guys, not just me in general. So I have to keep you guys, my audience, engaged, and changing things around keeps you guys coming back for more. Okay, so remember, going forward, when you're questioning me on comments, when is it going to end, or all of that, guys, it's never going to end. This is the reason for the channel, is to bring you guys some of the best components out there for you guys to hear. Something that most channels don't ever do. All they do is talk about a product, but they never let you listen. I understand YouTube, it's not the greatest way or platform to listen to components. I know it's not 100% accurate, but let's be honest. Okay, we're in the middle of a pandemic. You're not going to get out there and listen. There are no shows. So what other options are you left with other than to come into my channel and listen and at least have a general idea of what the product sounds like, right? Remember, every product that I'm presenting to you is going through the same processing that YouTube is doing. So it's pretty uniform throughout. So if you hear a component that sounds rolled off through YouTube, chances are it's going to be probably rolled off when you hear it in real life. It's just a matter of how much of it are you going to really lose or gain when you hear it in person. Does that make sense? So remember that, okay? Use YouTube for your own buying decisions when it comes to audio. That's the reason why I do this, the videos and all the content that I put out. Anyway, enough of that. So if you guys remember, I gave you guys 6 speakers, right, that I was contemplating. And I have made my decision, of course. The speaker that I have chosen is here. But before I show you what speaker that is, I am going to go over the 5 speakers that I selected and the reason why I did not select each particular speaker. So let's start with number 1, Wilson Audio Chronosonic XVX. I was coming from the Alex. The next logical step for me would have been the Chronosonic. I know that the new Alex V is coming soon. It's right around the corner. It's probably another 12 days away from today, or 10 days, I should say, from today before we get to see it and hear it. Yes, I did entertain it. Yes, I had conversations with some dealers about it. I was very close to pulling the trigger on the Alex V. But this speaker that I selected was a conversation that I had been having with a dealer way before the Alex V was announced. And so I circled back to the same conversation and I was able to put together a deal with the dealer. Okay, so, but let's go over the speakers first. Chronosonic. Chronosonics is a highly contemplated speaker. I heard it several times. I heard it at Audio Advisors here in West Palm Beach. I heard it twice in that location. I thought it was just incredible sound, big scale. I love the sound. If you guys know anything about me, I love large sounding equipment. I personally like the way it looks. I think it looks like a piece of art, in my opinion. But the reason why I didn't bring it is because my room is 17 by 22. And I was very afraid that speaker was going to be too large for my room. And to be sincere, the logistics to bring the speaker in here, it's a lot of work. And for me to invest that kind of money into a room that I don't feel comfortable about, I just felt that there was too much of a gamble there. Right. And believe me, guys, when you deal with speakers of that size, it's a very scary thing. It really is. It takes a lot of work and resources, manpower to uncrate them, to set them up. It's a lot of work. And although I know the dealer would have helped, you guys know me. I'm the one who does most of the work here. Okay. If you know anything about me, I'm the one who loves to try things and who loves to, simply just do the work and learn as I go. So that was the main reason why the Chronosonic did not make the cut for me. The next speaker was the Rockport Lyra. I had never heard this speaker before, but I did do some research for me, which was enough research for me to consider it. I do like the beryllium tweeter. I have heard that it sounds a lot like the Revell Salon tweeter, which I really loved. It was always smooth. It was never fatiguing. It's never bright. And I thought this was a great opportunity for me to try Rockport, right? Because I've never had Rockport. I've always wanted to have Rockport. I've always wanted to own it and have hands-on experience with the product. But to be, honest again, I just thought that not hearing this speaker, which weighs like 500 pounds, the logistics again, and just not really being acquainted with the sound at all. I heard a brief moment of the smaller brother, the smaller Avior speaker at Expo. I heard it over at Florida Audio Expo in 2019, and it's just too hard for me to really gauge a speaker. I mean, that speaker was too small, and I really didn't think it had enough exposure to the product for me to consider it. So I passed on it. The next speaker, number 3, is a Karma Exquisite Midi. So, I have seen Karma speakers in person, and I've always thought they were extremely good-looking speakers. The construction is always just meticulous. It's just incredible. The build quality, the feel, the fit and finish, everything about the speaker on the outside is beautiful. And the reports that I got from Suncoast Audio in regards to the S7s and the DB9s was that the speaker was very dynamic, like Wilson Audio, had the bottom end, that punch, that muscle that I like, and it was extremely musical. That's the word that Mike kept using. It's extremely musical. It's engaging. You really are glued to the seat. And to me, that's very appealing. That's something very appealing to me. But that speaker, the speaker that I selected that's in this room, I still felt had more of my attention. So I quickly abandoned the thought of bringing a Karma Exquisite Midi into my room. The next speaker number 4, this was the Vivid Audio G1 Spirit. So I simply love the disappearing act and musicality of Vivid Audio in general. I have owned the Vivid Audio G1, S1, and I thought it was just incredible. An incredible speaker. I know some of you guys have a problem with the looks, but I honestly don't think you guys have a way of appreciating the aesthetics of something unless you see it in person and you touch it and feel it. And I think that picture sometimes can get you guys a little bit worried that you may not like the speaker in your living room, but I gotta tell you, in person, the speaker is actually a very, very good looking speaker. I heard the G2s, S2s at Suncoast Audio a few months back. If you remember in one of my earlier videos, last year I heard it. And I was blown away by that G2 S2 speaker. I really thought it had so much musicality. Again, the disappearing act. The speaker literally, when the music starts, think of it, the speaker just walks out of the room and is gone. It's not there anymore. I thought for the money, and I told Mike, I was very honest, I thought that's the best speaker for the money that he had at that point in time. Now, of course, he's brought other speakers ever since, so I can't speak about today's offerings and what he has there. But at that point in time, I found that speaker extremely incredible. Like, it really, really would be a speaker that I could see myself with for a long time. I also like the Fine Audio. So you guys know I love the Fine Audio 112s. I mean, I thought that speaker was incredible as well. But for me personally, I thought the G2S2 just brought a new level of information. Never, ever did I feel that the speaker was fatiguing. I don't think the word fatiguing and vivid audio do not belong in the same sentence. It just doesn't exist. Okay. But I will tell you that, remember, I have a channel going on right now, right? And guys, eventually I have to move on from things, right? I have to. And I was always worried about the looks of the speaker potentially hurting me when it's time for me to sell my speakers. And I didn't want to let that be an obstacle when it's time for me to move on. Right. In addition to that, remember the Vivid Audio G1 Spirits are like $90-something thousand. So it's already on top of the looks. Now you have a very expensive speaker to deal with. So I just felt like overall, when I studied the speaker as a whole, those were the main two reasons why I didn't bring it. It's because of the perception that you guys have of the looks. And eventually, let's face it, I got to sell it to one of you guys. And it makes it harder for me when it's the aesthetics that are stopping me from making the sale. I totally love the looks. I'm telling you, I love the looks of the Vivid Audio. I really think it's a very good looking speaker. Speaker number 5. This was my runner-up speaker. The Sonos Fiber Ada II. Not the MK1, MK2. The main reasons why this speaker was the runner-up was because, one, the aesthetics. It's a beautiful looking speaker. I mean, this is to me an instrument. When I look at this is a speaker that I would feel proud to have in a huge living room, in an open environment for people to walk up to and look at it. It really is just, again, Italian, the Italian design, right? And it's just, nothing else needs to be said. It's just a good looking speaker in general. Another reason why I had it as a runner up was because I heard it at Expona in 2018. And I thought that one and the big Focal Grande Utopia were the two best speakers that I heard at that show. I sat down and I listened to, I believe they were Macintosh 611s, or it could have been the 1.25s, driving these Ada 2s. And guys, I could not get off the chair. I mean, the musicality was through the roof, the big sound stage, it was just incredible. Also, if you guys look at the review of the Sonos Fiber Ada II, there is a review on Stereophile currently that basically, if you read between the lines, you'll find out that the speaker it was actually compared against the Alex that one of the reviewers owns. And if you read again carefully, you will see that he actually did prefer the Sonos Fiber Ada II over his Alex. And as you know, I'm coming from Alex, so I figure, you know what? Not only did I like that speaker at Expona 2018, and I really loved everything about it, but there is an additional resource, in this case the reviewer, saying that he had Alex's, and basically he thought the Ada II had better bass in the room, the sound stage was huge, and those are things that are very appealing to me. So, and also in addition to that, it was the right price point for me. I believe is 135,000 USD. So it checked every single box, right? But why did I not buy it? Why didn't I go for the Sonos Fiber Ada II? guys, because there is literally a shortage of Ada 2s in the United States. I mean, there is currently only a handful of dealers. I think there might be only one dealer in the whole country that has it on display. There's not many here, and so I needed to be ordered, and then ordering it, building it. That speaker is built. It's not in stock. They have to, when the order comes in, it's built, right? So I was told we're looking at 4 months before I'm able to get that speaker in here. I just felt like that's 4 months without a speaker. How much content can I really put out throughout the next 4 months while still keeping you guys engaged? Again, you guys are back in the mix, back in the conversation. I have to think of you. I could care less waiting 4 months and just, you know what? I can just watch movies here in this room for 4 months, and I'm okay with that, and wait for the speaker. But I have to think of you all. And I know that there's only so much I can do in 4 months without a speaker. And to mind you, that's 4 months, a rough estimate. It could be 5 for all we know. If there are delays, if there is issues with COVID, we go in a lockdown again, I could be looking at, who knows, 5, 6, 7 months before I see that speaker here. So I just felt like the lack of availability was really what turned me off about buying that particular speaker. But I think if that speaker had been available and I was able to get my hands on it right away, I probably would have bought that speaker, and that would be the speaker that I would have here. But that brings me to the final speaker, and this is the speaker that I have selected, and it is the magical M6. Yep, at $172,000, 392 pounds, 91 decibels of efficiency, 4 ohm impedance, and only about 5 inches shorter than my Alex. It's the same width, close to the same width, close to the same depth as the Alex that I had, which I really thought was cool. This is, to me, the next logical choice in my selection. Reasons why is because I heard it at the Florida Audio Expo with some Luxman 900U in mono mode, and I was blown away by the musicality. I think also, so if you look at it, this speaker is simply it's just incredible. It's such a beautiful speaker, guys. I mean, it is really, really a work of art. I just feel like this is a timeless design. This is a speaker that you really could keep for the next 10 years. And by looking at it, you're still kind of like, wow, this speaker does not age at all. Right? Look at it. This speaker doesn't age, guys. It's such a pretty speaker. But it's also incredibly heavy. Carbon fiber. You can see it. Okay, it's a beautiful, beautiful design. The woofers, you got the beryllium tweeter, 3 10.5-inch drivers. Right now, as you can see, I still have it on casters. I do have the amp pods, and I'm going to go ahead and install those probably in about a week's time or so. I need some help. It's pretty heavy. It's also very rounded if you see it. See that? There's no edges, so if you begin to tilt the speaker, if you tilt it, and you don't have a good grip, that speaker is going to fall flat on the floor, and you're not going to be able to pick it up. So this is my selection here, guys. I can tell you right now that when it comes to speakers, if you can see it right there, this has been a very, very exciting time for my channel, for me, and for me to be able to explore a speaker that I think will bring a lot of fun. And yes, there's going to be a lot of talk now amongst you guys between Wilson and Magical and Vivids and Sonos Fiber. I know there will be a lot of talk about that. But I got to tell you guys that to me, this was just the right move for the time being, taking everything in consideration. It just was the right move. It really was a speaker that I thought was a great opportunity. And if I can give you preliminary feedback in the short amount of time that I've had it, I can tell you it is the closest speaker, tweeter woofer speaker, that I have ever heard, sonically speaking, to a panel. I have never heard a speaker that sounds so similar to a panel. This speaker does that. This speaker does that, but it adds bass and dynamics, slam, speed, all of that. So I hope you guys are as excited as I am, and I hope you guys continue to tune in, share this video. The speaker will be going to battle already. We are going to do a first battle with this speaker, and that piece that's under that towel that I'm not showing you, that's one integrated that I'm going to be introducing to you guys soon, and we're going to do that integrated against the Diablo 300. Yes, we're going to do an integrated shootout with a speaker of this caliber with electronics that are far less money, that you typically would never see speaker like this with electronics like this 60.8 and that integrated right there. You simply would never see that combination at a show, but I want to do cool stuff like that. I want to do things different, because you know what the conversation should be? Is it better to have a speaker that's cheaper? You know, my Alex is worth $109,000, 109 to be specific, MSRP. These are 172. So the conversation should be, is it better to have a speaker that is more money and then downgrade on your electronics like I have done here? Or is it better to have a speaker that's less money and upgrade the electronics the way you see here on the screen right now, right? Like I did with the Alex. What's better, this setup or this setup? That's what you have to think about now, right? And I think that's going to be a great exercise for you guys, and it's going to give you a lot of food for thought. Stay tuned for more, guys. Thank you so much for following me. I really greatly appreciate your time, and on to the next one. Take care now.